Hi, it's John. Welcome to my channel, EV Intuition, where I help you understand about electric vehicles. In a recent video, I described how Consumer Reports' annual auto issue was deficient in how it rated and reviewed electric vehicles because it was missing some important information, namely that relating to charging of electric vehicles. If you want to view that video, click in the description below where I have a link. But today what I want to do is help you understand why I chose 3 different areas that I think Consumer Reports should add to help improve the ratings and reviews of electric vehicles. And in particular today I'm going to focus on one area, that being knowing the vehicle's maximum charging specs or charging rates. So let's get into it. Before I begin my topic this week, I ask you that if you like the content you see on my channel, please subscribe and give me a like or send me any comments you have. Today, I'm talking about charging specs. Why do you need to know that if you're owning or planning to own an electric vehicle? As I mentioned before in my suggestions for Consumer Reports reviews, that was one of the areas that I suggested that they include on each of the electric vehicles. In particular, there's 2 aspects of electric vehicle charging, and one is the AC charging or the slow charging, typically found in homes and in public parking lots, and then the DC fast charging capabilities of your vehicle. DC fast chargers are chargers that you use when you're on road trip, when you want to charge your vehicle as quick as possible. Those are the 2 areas that you need to know. So let's talk about that. Let's start with the AC charging capabilities of your vehicle. First of all, why do you need to know it? Why is that important? Well, as I've mentioned many times in my videos, that one of the key advantages of owning an electric vehicle is the ability to charge at home, because it makes the cost and convenience of refueling your electric vehicle cheaper and more convenient. Knowing the maximum AC charge rate of your vehicle, that will help you specify what you need to have in your home as far as a charger and the circuit that supports the charger. For example, I've always recommended for a full electric vehicle that you have a 240 volt charger in your home. And if you don't have that circuit, I recommend that you have it added by an electrician. And in order to do that, that electrician will need some specification as to how much power you're going to have in that charger. And knowing how much your vehicle can charge, the maximum amount that it can charge, will help specify that. The key thing there is with a 240 volt circuit, the next thing you want to know is how much current you're going to have to draw, and that will help determine the overall power. Recall that power is the voltage times the current. Okay, so you know that the voltage is going to be 240 volts, so the current then will dictate what maximum power you're going to have by knowing what maximum current you can draw through that circuit. And by knowing that, the electrician can determine how thick of a wire he's or she's got to run in order to get it to your charger from your circuit breaker. And also it determines how big of a circuit breaker is needed for that particular circuit. So as I've said, that's an important part. Now, to give you an example of what I've done in my home for my 240 volt circuit, now I had it placed in the garage, so I ran 6 gauge wire, 6 gauge Romex wire, and I ran it from my circuit box to the garage. With 6 gauge Romex, it has a capacity of up to 50 amps. Now, the key thing though that you got to realize with electric vehicle charging is that it's a continuous circuit, so they have a level of safety that they require you to do. So a 50 amp circuit, you got to give it a 20% buffer for continuous operation. So technically that 6 gauge Romex will only allow 40 amp service. So when I charge my Tesla Model Y today, I have a setting in it that says only charge with 40 amps. If you do the math, that comes out to 9.6 kilowatts of power, which compare that to the maximum power that the Tesla Model Y will support, which is 11.5 kilowatts, because it can support up to 48 amps. So my circuit doesn't support 48 amps, so I leave it at 40, and it does plenty for me. And the nice part about that is I can fully charge my Tesla Model Y in as little as 7 to 8 hours, which is great. And I give you some examples of other vehicles, their maximum power. And you can see how much they differ. And one of the things that you have to keep in mind is, for example, for the Ford F-150, it has a maximum power of 19.2 kilowatts. And that's because it has a huge battery. The battery size of that is almost double that of the Ford Mach-E, standard Ford Mach-E battery. And so you want to charge faster in order to fully charge that battery. So, if you wired your house for only 30 amps for that vehicle, it's going to take a lot longer for that vehicle's battery to charge. So I want you to do the correct matching. And that's why it's important to know the maximum AC charging rate that your vehicle has, and to make sure that your home circuit supports either rate to that rate, higher if might be a better way to do it, or if you're going to go lower, that you're aware of that limitation. Now, the second charging spec that you need to know is you need to know the maximum DC fast charging rate of your vehicle. The most important reason for knowing the DC fast charge rate is that it gives you a relative ranking of how your vehicle, or how quickly your vehicle will charge. Certainly a vehicle that charges at 300 kilowatts is going to charge much quicker than a vehicle at 150 kilowatts or 50 kilowatts. So that's important to know. What are you getting? How fast is that vehicle in its ability to charge? Now, the maximum charge rate is not the full story behind how long it will take. There's actually, every vehicle has what's referred to as a charge curve that indicates how that speed of charging varies over time as you go from a low state of charge to a higher state of charge. I've explained that in previous videos, so you can check that out to get a better indication of what that means from an overall charging time. And the second reason that it's helpful to know the DC fast charging is that it gives you an indication of what to do when you get to a particular charging location. When you get to that charging location, the DC fast charging max specs will help you know what's the optimal fast charger that you should go to. Now, I give some examples of why that's important by looking at the different types of electric vehicles and their maximum charge rates. For example, I give two extremes. The Chevy Bolt has a maximum DC charge rate of 55 kilowatts, and then you get the Lucid Air Grand Touring, which has a maximum charge rate of 300 kilowatts. So how's this going to help you? Well, if you're pulling into a charging location and they have several charging lots have different size chargers. Some was specified as 150 kilowatts max, others 350 kilowatts max. And so if you have a Chevy Bolt and you see there's two chargers open, a 150 kilowatt charger and a 350 kilowatt charger open, I'm going to recommend that you go to 150 kilowatt. By going to that one, you save the 350 kilowatt for a vehicle that might be able to take better use of that charge rate, and you take the slower one, which is plenty, because keep in mind, if the limit of your vehicle is 55 kilowatts, going to a 150 charger, it's still going to get 55 kilowatts maximum. Going to a 350 kilowatt charger is not going to improve that. It's still going to be 55, and essentially you're not going to be using the full capacity of that charger. So just keep that in mind. And then I reverse the other scenario is that if you come into a charging location with a Lucid Air, which charges at 300 kilowatts, you want to go with the 350 kilowatt station if you have a choice between 150 kilowatts and 350 kilowatts, because then you'll spend the least amount of time there. So thanks for watching this video. I hope you found it informative and useful in helping you understand the importance of knowing the AC and DC fast charge rates, the maximum AC and DC fast charge rates of an electric vehicle, and how that helps you understand how the charging aspects of that vehicle perform. So I hope to see you next time. Take care. Thanks for watching.